Hey there everybody, this big old box just arrived today. Let's get it open and see what we got in there. Set this aside. Okay. That's it for that. All right, there it is. Hand forged Windlass Steelcrafts, Premier Government Contractors. And then it just gives you some more info over here. It says it's 1075 carbon steel. But check it out. It's got kind of a tan, yellowish tan canvas, I guess, sheath there with real leather up here. At the top, it's got double stitching on the top there. It says AKCO 1918 RHS. Actually stamped right into the leather, and then it has what looks like a weep hole to let water drain out. And this has wood inside of it. I know that. The originals did anyhow. Now it's got this little steel like flap here for, I guess, hooking it to your belt. I'm not sure exactly how that works. Let's take a look at the knife here. It's in there pretty good. Looks pretty greasy. It's got kind of a rounded kind of spoon type tip on it, you know. You could say this is like a leaf design, but it's a bolo. Looks like it's, to look at it, I would guess that's close to 1/4 inch thick, maybe just shy. And then it transitions into an edge here. Doesn't feel that sharp. And this wraps around the whole tip, and then, I mean, it's not super sharp, but it does feel like it has like a working edge, maybe kind of like a hatchet or an axe. Make sure this is in focus. Steel looks like it's kind of blued. Take a quick look at the sheath here though. Yeah, it does have a wood liner in there. And then this is like a brass top piece on the sheath. I don't know what you would call it, but yeah, I don't know if there's a spring system in there or not. I don't see one, but there must be because it holds pretty snug. It almost looks like this is twisted. Yeah, like you can actually twist this around a little bit to straighten it up. So yeah, if you got a little weight to it, not bad. But let's see this here. Oh, little tag fell off. Ugh, that's greasy. Man, that looks really cool, really legit. Just like the old ones that you see on eBay. Usually they have like a long running crack going right down the center, and this one almost looks like it's a faked in crack there, but it's just everything about it. Look at that. It looks old and weathered. You can really feel that grease though. And these wood scales are removable, so you can see what it looks like underneath. It's got a big bird's head steel skull crusher pommel on it. says made in India, which is a little sticker. See if you can see that. Don't even want to touch my camera because my hands are so greasy now. This whole thing's just slathered in grease. Yeah, that comes right off. You can put that anywhere. But this is to look like the old Plumb made Bolos. It says stamped right into the steel too, like it's legit. Plumb St Louis 1918. And then this side is US MOD 1917 CT. And I've heard that some people think that means Connecticut, but that's not what it stands for. There's a guy on YouTube who's reviewing these, and he looks like he possibly sells them or something, like the originals. And he says it stands for commercial tang. But when I looked it up on Google, it says it stands for, it says that it stands for commercial tolerances. And then it has like a hashtag, and then it says tang. So it probably could stand for commercial tolerances or commercial tang. And I guess the reason behind that is originally the government was making these and it was costing them a fortune. So then they ended up sending it out to multiple knife makers like Plumb and several others. And that's how it got that commercial tolerances CT stamp there. But these were still used in battle, so they're still legit. Just because they were made by knife manufacturers doesn't mean they're not legit. But I really love how dark and gnarled this wood looks, how aged it looks. Like they did a cool job on that. It looks pretty straight. Trying to keep this focusing with my greasy fingers. Does not want to. Come on, iPhone, you can do it. Yeah. There it is. It's basically just a World War I and even into World War II military Bolo replica. Now, it's my understanding I can take this off, which I probably will, and I'll take a look. It's supposed to be full tang, 1075 high carbon steel. It's got a high carbon steel hand guard on it there. And with this bird's head pommel there, it stops your hand from slipping back. It's got like these little very shallow like finger grooves there. Yeah, really cool. What a neat knife. It's definitely got some weight to it. It's forward heavy, big chopper. I guess these were mostly to be used for clearing brush and things like that, but they did get used for combat too. I'm sure you could take an arm off or even amputate a leg or an arm in the battle if you had to, you know. Because I think they did make a medical one, and it had a very rounded tip, but it was used for like amputations and things like that during battles in World War I and World War II. But anyhow, let's get some measurements of this big old blade. Okay, let's get a look here at the blade. You are looking at the cutting edge. Looks like it stops about right here. So about 8.5 on the cutting edge, but you could take it farther back and have clear up to a 10.25 inch blade, at least a 10-inch blade to there, because there's this little choil area, if you want to call it that. And then 15 inches overall. So about 4.5 inches on the handle. And let's see here. The widest point of the blade is, I'd say, just a hair past 2 inches. If that's showing up at all. But it's a big 2-inch wide blade. Easy. And then, is this a full quarter? I think it's a little shy. Yeah, it's just a 1/16 of an inch shy of being a true full 1/4 inch. It's more than 3/16. Just a hair shy of a 1/4. So that's it for the length and stuff there. Let's get some weight on this. Get the big old block out here. I use that because it doesn't have any give, so you get a more accurate weight on the scale. Okay, we got grams set up on there. Knife by itself. Wow, 673 grams. It's pretty heavy. And the knife in the sheath is 990 grams. So you can see that's a pretty heavy sheath, having that brass on the top and the wood inside. But okay, now we got it set up for pounds. So we're looking at 2 pounds, 2.9 ounces. Knife and sheath together. And then the knife all by itself is 1 pound, 7.7 ounces. Like, how often do you get a knife that heavy? Like this thing. Whew. It reminds me of the Hibbon 4 Rambo 4 knife. Man, that was a heavy chunk of steel. It was 1095. This is a big old heavy chunk of steel at 1075 steel. Okay, we'll do some knife comparisons here, just for the heck of it. This is it beside a Buck 188. If it will focus, Buck 188 M9 Frobus bayonet. Give you the size differences there, if anything could ever be in focus. Wow. But there that is. You can see this is a big old chopping beast. We'll work through some other knives just so you can see all the, different comparisons. Because maybe you don't have a Buck M9, but maybe you have the Ontario Knife Company SP46 Skinner. That'd give you an idea of the size difference. Or if you don't have that, knife, maybe you got this knife. A lot of people have this knife. It's the Ontario Knife Company SP2 Survival Knife. It's like a pilot survival knife. And for size comparisons, you get an idea. You can see the handle on this, even as stout as it is, it's very thick. I mean, it's not a whole lot bigger than an Ontario knife handle. But I love that real rustic, like vintage look that they did with this Bolo. And I'm not even a big fan of the Bolo design overall. I kind of was more interested in getting a Smatch It. But I can't find any good ones that are actually in stock at the moment. But here's a big old thick tank, 5/16. This is the Recon Scout in 52-100. So you can see this thing's a little bigger. It's about Trailmaster size. Maybe a little shy of the Trailmaster. This big old blade. Okay, here's the Trailmaster in 52-100 steel. You can see that they're pretty much the same size. Trailmaster's got a decent amount of weight because of being 5/16 of an inch thick. But this feels like it might be a hair heavier. Like there's more handle weight. I think it's this big old monster pommel on it there. And last but not least, here it is beside the cold steel drop forged survivalist. And this is in 52-100 ball bearing steel. This is the old vintage one that has the bronze coating over top of a black coating over top of the blade. So it's a heck of a knife here. It's a 1/4 inch thick. You can see they're about identical, I guess. But you can see that this one here is just a micro, like a 1/16 off. Like it's just shy of a 1/4. Usually when you hear people talking about it, they're always like, oh, they're a 1/4 inch, they're a 1/4 inch. I mean, they're close. They're practically a 1/4 inch, but just a little bit shy of it. Okay, I just got some of that oil off of the blade there. Just because it's hard to do a paper cutting test when you got like thick grease all over the blade. So, got some printer paper here. I don't know how great this edge is, but feels like there's a bit of an edge on there. You can kind of see it in the light. But let's see if it has an edge at all. I mean, it's a rough, toothy cut, but it seems like it is cutting. It's very, very rough edge. You're not really going to stab with it. It's too round. But you could sharpen this and turn that more into a point. It's like pretty much a full flat grind down to a very low, like saber line right down here at the bottom, which some people would say that's a Scandi, you know, but then it has that little secondary V edge. So I would just say, like most military big choppers, it's a low saber. Then it has the little secondary V edge on it. But you could strop this. It would take a while on sandpaper, but you could make a nice convex out of this, which I might end up doing. But let's do one more test here. Just because there is what looks to be slightly sharpened up here at the tip. I don't know that it is at all, but we'll see. Does it start? Yeah, it's not very sharp. I think that's all looks. All bark and no bite up there at the top. Yeah, really nothing up there. They started it for you, so with some work you could take it to an edge. But yeah, this here, I think stropping would help a little bit. And if you put some fine sandpaper, like I was saying, and just stropped it, you could really get a decent edge on it. But because it is designed to be like a big bone chopper and a big wood chopper and a brush clearer, it doesn't need to have a razor sharp blade. Okay, it's my understanding that originals of this had a green, like olive drab green canvas. And I guess the dye they used to dye the canvas came from Japan or something like that. And when we were fighting them, they couldn't get the dye anymore, so they just went back to the natural color, that yellowy tan natural canvas color. So that's why you'll see some very old ones, really old, with the green, and then like the World War II ones will have like the tan. You see a lot of this tan out there. But considering that smells like nice leather, considering this is made in India, they did a really great job. This Windlass Steelcrafts, they seem like they really shine when they do these old, rustic looking blades. And that's what they did with this. And man, they did a good job. I'm really liking that. That looks like it's just spinning in place, so I probably got to hold this side. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it. There, it seems like it might be working. Yep, my fingers are as rough as sandpaper, so if I press it in there good enough, it usually will hold. Yeah, what kind of a bolt is that? Oh, there we go. Get this side out. You got the male side and then the female side of these bolts or screws. Yeah, it's coming out easy enough. Got to use some pressure, like I'm really pressing hard on that. I mean, if you had another tool, you know, it'd make life easier, but of course, I'm always doing everything on the fly. But there it is. Yeah, there's the wood. And yeah, this is what I suspected. And I didn't want it to be the case, but it is the case. You can see that the whole blade just has a little stick tang that goes right to there, and that's not how the original ones were. This is actually kind of a cheat way of doing it. Then they put metal around the outside edge to make it look as though it's full tang. And you can see at least this one has like 1, 2, 3, 4, what looks like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 tack welds. And there's a couple little miss spots there. And then they, you know, ground it down really good. It's not super disappointing. They also tack welded the guard on there. Just because instead of just a little cheap ass little tang like that, at least it goes, I bet you that's close to 3 inches, 2.5 or 3 inches. All the way down there, and then it's wrapped in steel. So I mean, that should hold up pretty good. The chances that I'm going to break every single one of these welds, you know, and have it pop out is probably pretty slim. So even though I'm not thrilled about that, you know, it is what it is. But now I know, you know, unless you take something apart, you don't know. Because a lot of these knife makers, especially foreign knife makers, you'll look at it and be like, oh my, it's full tang, what a great thing. But in reality, it's not really a true full tang. And I don't see how that saves them time or money. They swear it does, but to me it just seems like a real pain in the butt, like it would slow the whole works down. But who knows, maybe the ones that were made by Plumb had something similar, but I've seen a couple of them on YouTube videos where people took the scales off, and it's just like one solid tang. It does have divots in it, but it's not tack welded like this on a little stick tang. This is a tack welded stick tang, which in my opinion does not look that great, and it's not nearly as strong. Don't let anybody kid you, it's not. For what I'm going to use this for, which probably won't be much, because they make these as replicas, you know. But how often will I take this out and chop wood with it? Probably slim to none. It'll probably be more of a display piece for me. But now you know how the tang is set up. And I think I covered everything on this video. We got the weight, the paper cutting, knife comparisons, measurements. I think I pretty much got it all. How would you lay it? This way or this way? Such an odd shaped knife. But yeah, I don't know. How's that for a thumbnail? Maybe I should just do this, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing review of the Windlass Steelcrafts 1917/1918 military Bolo knife. And this is like the Plumb version replica. Really nice looking handle. Look at my hands, are very greasy. But yeah, as soon as I'm done with this video, I might do a little, I was thinking about putting some super blue on it, but they did a pretty darn good job already. I think I'll just oil it up. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing review of this Bolo.
This is Joe Doomsday, signing out.
St